Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about a brand new Nintendo 3DS emulator. It's called Panda 3DS. Panda 3DS is an HLE, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or a high-level emulator depending on how you want to interpret that. It's a Red Panda-themed Nintendo 3DS emulator written in C++. It started out as a fun project out of curiosity, but has evolved into something that can sort of play games. So the very first preview release of Panda 3DS has just released. It's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's free and it's open source. Now it's worth pointing out that Panda 3DS is still in very early stages of development, so don't expect a whole lot from it just yet. They say many games boot, many don't. Most games have at least some hilariously broken graphics. Audio is not supported, performance leaves a bit to be desired, and most quality of life features, including a GUI, are completely missing. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to it in the description below and feel free to check it out. Again, don't expect a whole lot from this one just yet. I'm excited though that there is another 3DS emulator out there. Next up here, we're quickly talking about Grimaces Birthday. We talked about this one a number of videos ago, but it is a Game Boy Color game released by McDonald's. And someone here decided to make a complete box for it. It is homemade, they don't plan on selling it, which is a bit of a bummer here. But at the same time, I think this packaging is amazing. And the game itself isn't overly bad. If you've played Grimaces Birthday, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And if there was a physical edition of it, would you pick it up? Let me know in the comments below. And speaking about talking about something quickly, next up here we're talking about Street Fighter 2 for the SNES. And someone has just released a brand new ROM hack here that says Street Fighter 2 Turbo 10 stars enabled. So the only difference between this and the official version of the game on SNES is the fact that this one has all 10 stars unlocked without having to enter a cheat code. If you are curious about this, some 10-star battles can be absolutely crazy, and I'll drop a link to this ROM hack in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Next up here, we're talking about Proton, and if you game on Linux, like on the Steam Deck, you may be interested in this brand new Proton experimental version that just dropped. This one here fixes game stutter in Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris. It fixes keyboard input registering with a delay and getting stuck in Wild Hearts. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is now launching after a recent game update. And Overwatch 2 is now not stopping to register controller inputs after an online match has started. So some of these bug fixes are pretty big if you play these specific games. Moving on, and we're talking about Console Launcher, and Console Launcher just got a brand new pretty big update to version 1.10. So here's what's new in version 1.10. They've added links to the new Discord server, they've added Steam Grid DB integration, they've added a poster shortcut view, added airplane mode detection, and improved the shortcut editor. And on top of that, there's some more additions here, and one very interesting point. Improved app performance and memory use across the board. So if you're using Console Launcher, you may want to pick up the latest and greatest version of it. And speaking about 1.10, next up we're talking about 1.17, and Halo the Master Chief Collection is about to get a pretty big update. It says here in PC Games 10, which I will leave a link to in the description below, Halo's RTS and third-person roots are about to be restored. In my opinion, this is absolutely huge, especially if you're a big Halo fan, and even more so because it's coming to the Master Chief Collection without really having to pay extra for it. And here they say they're working directly with an intrepid team of modders. They've got cut enemies, vehicles, maps, weapons, and more, so feel free to check this one out. Next up here, we're talking about Fedora, and it appears that Fedora is causing a little bit of controversy in the Linux space. According to this article, which I will drop a link to in the description below, Fedora Workstation 40 considering inclusion of privacy-preserving telemetry. So Fedora says, Fedora is an open source community project, and nobody is interested in violating user privacy. Big thumbs up for that. We do not want to collect data about individual users. Again, big thumbs up for that. Especially compared to stuff like Meta and even Windows, but I won't get into that in this video. We want to collect only aggregate usage metrics that are actually needed to achieve specific Fedora improvement objectives, and no more. And this is where the thumb goes from up to possibly sideways, maybe even down, but we'll talk about this more in just a second here. We understand that if we violate our users' trust, then we won't have many users left. So if metrics collection is approved, it's not approved yet, we will need to be very careful to roll this out in a way that respects our users at all times. Again, the thumb is kind of in the middle here, and that's because of this statement right here. The data collection would be an opt-out system rather than an opt-in system. And that to me doesn't sit quite right. I mean, yes, it's not a problem if you wanted to provide some anonymous data to help out the development team, sure. But people should be making that choice to do it as opposed to being forced to do it and then having to backtrack and unselect it. And this has caused a bit of a divide in the Linux community. And let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. But last up here, we're talking about W.I.N.E. And W.I.N.E. stands for W.I.N.E. is not an emulator, or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, I guess, depending on how you want to interpret that. Anyways, W.I.N.E. 8.12 just released, and we've got 3 points here. We've got some bug fixes, we've got initial support for penning windows in the W.I.N.E. driver, and we've got command stream performance improvements in W.I.N.E. D3D. If you take a look at some of these bug fixes, and I'll drop a link to the page in the description below, if you play StarCraft 2, you may be interested to know that StarCraft 2 graphics only work when window is out of focus has now been fixed. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I am absolutely exhausted today, so we're going to end things there. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below, and we did talk about quite a bit. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.